My name is Randy Anderson, President of the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame. I am pleased to be able to read the first few paragraphs of Part 5 of Dave Muley's book, Across the Seams, A History of Professional Baseball in Jamestown, New York. The opening weeks of the 1949 season brought high expectations. Jamestown fans packed Municipal Stadium, each ticket they purchased further assuring Detroit Tiger management that they had made a shrewd move in purchasing the Falcons from John Yocum. The new Pony League president, Vince McNamara, was beginning a stay in office that would last 37 years. On the field, the Falcons were expected to do well. To death and taxes, you can add another sure thing, Post-Journal sports editor Frank Hyde wrote, and that is the 1949 Jamestown Falcons are the best-looking early season contenders since Greg Malevy's Bone Crushers of 1941 and 1942. Marv Olson returned as Falcons manager, heading a Detroit farm team that was younger, faster, and stronger than the Pony League teams of the early 1940s. The Falcons were prospects, investments, under the close watch of Detroit as they traveled through Pennsylvania, Ontario, and New York. The Tigers gave Jamestown, according to manager Olson, a bunch of fence busters. Bill Fireball Furlong, raised in the neighboring town of Salamanca, was one of the Falcons' pitchers in 1949. During a 9-game win streak, Furlong won 2 ball games, giving up a combined 7 hits. After the second win, Frank Hyde wrote that Furlong could probably become mayor of Salamanca. Furlong was on his way to becoming the 1949 Pony League pitching champion with a 16.5 record and a 1.89 earned run average. The local boy was honored that summer with a Bill Furlong night and was presented a suitcase as a gift.
The 1949 season featuring Bill Furlong, Don Chappie, Tommy Falk, Allison Gilbert, Mylon Kemp, and manager Marv Olson came with those same high expectations. The season came down to the last 2 games scheduled for Labor Day 1949. An afternoon game in Jamestown against the Bradford Phillies, and then there would be travel to the Bradford ballpark in the evening against the Phillies. 2 games in one night on Labor Day. And the final game in Bradford that evening ended dramatically with the Phils winning 5-4. The winning Bradford team, managed by Danny Carnavelli, featured a pitcher who would achieve great fame in the major leagues. And he recalls that final game.
Yeah, I remember one time we had to carry baseball bats to our dugout, to our clubhouse, because the fans, we beat the Jamestown team, and the fans were mad about it. The umpire made a call, and they thought it was against their team, and we actually took baseball bats from the dugout and walked through the crowd to the clubhouse.
For a little protection, huh?
Yeah, in case.
Marv Olson managed the Jamestown club. And we used to almost had a fist fight. Remember that too, 1949.
Also did not go unnoticed by Frank Hyde in his September 19th, 1949 column. He indicated how the Jamestown fans are a pretty spoiled lot. They are flush with victory after victory, well fed with pennants and playoff triumph. Their sense of values has been dulled with an overdose of victory serum. And a year that fails to produce a flag winner or a playoff champion is a lost weekend. He believed this group, however, was a minority. Such were the rabid fans of the Jamestown Falcons.
These are the secrets of champions. A.J. Sager, let's talk about in-game adjustments.
Well, I think that's the big key. I mean, there's going to come a point for most every pitcher where things aren't going exactly the way you want to on most starts. There's that start, every 7, 8, 9 times where you go out there and it just flows the way you want to. But most times that's not the case, and being able to adjust. I know, I spend a lot of time talking to the pitchers about how important it is to keep competing, keep making adjustments, keep solving problems. I mean, to me, we're problem solvers out there a lot of times, and because anymore with the way offenses are, add-on runs are so important. And you think that the ship has sailed if you've given up some runs early in the game, and then later in the game your team comes back and scores, and you realize if I could have stopped the bleeding earlier on, we're in this game and maybe have a chance to win it. So I just think it's a big part, and a lot of it I think is just reading what the game's telling you. How are the hitters attacking your stuff? If they look comfortable, that's not a good thing. Your job is to make the hitter uncomfortable. Sometimes that's with stuff. A lot of times that's with location. And you just have to be honest. I know a lot of times pitchers sometimes get a little defensive when you make suggestions to them during a game, and I understand that. There's a lot of confidence and pride that's maybe been shaken a little bit. As I tell them, I'm on your side. I'm just telling you the hitter looks comfortable. What can we do to make that adjustment? And I think the good ones do. I think that they find out early on the things that are working well for them, and they stick with those and try to enhance those. And then the things that maybe need to be adjusted, whether it's the quality of a pitch, the location, the comfort the hitter has against them. I go back again to pregame preparation, the stuff you can learn from a stat sheet. Understand who's hot, the guys in the lineup who can hurt you, and the situations that the game, tells you, okay, that's a guy that I'm not going to let beat me because the guy behind him is not hitting well. But that's all information that you have, and you can use during a game. And I just think that that's the biggest key is the gamesmanship. We all see guys with stuff, with velocity, with command. Those guys are around. It's the guy who can go out there when it's his turn to perform and understand, slow the game down, if you will, where you can recognize what's going on and understand what's going on, and then combat it and try to enhance your team's chances to win and make it as uncomfortable as you can on the hitter. I mean, to me, there's a reason when you watch basketball that a guy goes to the hoop, he gets fouled. In the NFL, linebackers look to the receiver when the quarterback drops the pass because they're going to knock him around. They're trying to make him uncomfortable. And to me, that's the pitcher's job. You make that hitter uncomfortable. That is your job. And you do it with stuff. You do it with velocity. But a lot of times you do it with what you do in-game adjustments to make what you're doing well and make it hard on them.